The Honor 20 Lite is the low-cost version of Honor 20. The Honor 20 Lite is designed to offer the basic look, feel and feature that can be found on modern flagship phones in a budget-friendly package. Its 6.21-inch LCD screen is big, plenty bright enough and well balanced. A full HD+ resolution offers ample pixels for all. You have a 24-megapixel 1.8 aperture main sensor and an 8-megapixel wide-angle lens and another one with 2-megapixel sensor. One of the three sensors, the 2-megapixel one, is purely for depth detection. Selfie camera, which really shows the company targeting at young audiences for this phone. It's technically got the same AI smarts and HDR capabilities as the rear array. The Honor 20 Lite has EMUI software sitting on top of Android 9. EMUI 9.0 is cleaner and more fluid than it used to be. It also has its unique advantages with an ability to tweak the phone's settings and general appearance with themes in a way that stock Android cannot do. It runs on the Kirin 710 chipset from Huawei subsidiary HiSilicon. The Honor 20 Lite packs 4GB of RAM, which is a considerable bump up from 3GB of Honor 10 Lite. The Honor 20 Lite is another well-balanced, desirable budget phone with a standout camera. Huawei P30 Lite smartphone was launched in March 2019. The phone comes with a 6.15-inch touchscreen display. It comes with HiSilicon Kirin 710 chipset along with 4GB of RAM. As far as the cameras are concerned, the Huawei P30 Lite on the rear packs a 48-megapixel primary camera with an 1.8 aperture, a second 8-megapixel camera and a third 2-megapixel camera. The rear camera setup has autofocus. It sports a 32-megapixel camera on the front for selfies with an 2.0 aperture. It runs EMUI 9.0.1 based on Android 9 Pie and packs 128GB of inbuilt storage that can be expanded via microSD card up to 1TB. The Honor View 20 is one of the first flagship phones of 2019. This phone is bold and eye-catching. A punch-hole display also gives the View 20 among the highest screen-to-surface ratios around. This phone has a rear fingerprint scanner pad on the back. This phone has a 6.4-inch screen of 1080 by 2310 resolution. It's an LCD rather than an OLED. This phone packs a 4000 mAh battery. It has two rear cameras, one is 48-megapixel IMX586 main camera, but the second is a time-of-flight 3D camera. Cameras has an AI scene mode, which attempts to recognize the subject. You can shoot video at up to 1080p at 60fps or 4K at 30fps. In the front, there is a 25-megapixel selfie camera. Selfie quality is good and it handles low light conditions well. This phone runs Android 9.0 with Magic UI 2.0 resting on top. This is Honor's own version of EMUI software used in Huawei phones. The Honor View 20 has a HiSilicon Kirin 980 chipset. Huawei's Mate 20 Pro uses the same CPU. There are two variants of this phone. One is 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. Another one is 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. There's no official water resistance, no wide-angle camera and no wireless charging. Still, the View 20 is one of the best Honor phones to date. Huawei Nova 5 smartphone was launched on 21st June 2019. The phone comes with a 6.39-inch touchscreen display with a resolution of 1080 by 2340 pixels at a pixel density of 403 pixels per inch and an aspect ratio of 19.5 by 9. Huawei Nova 5 is powered by a 1.88 GHz octa-core HiSilicon Kirin 810 processor that features 2 cores clocked at 2.27 GHz and 6 cores clocked at 1.88 GHz. It comes with 8GB of RAM. The Huawei Nova 5 runs Android 9 Pie and is powered by 3500 mAh battery. The Huawei Nova 5 supports proprietary fast charging. As far as the cameras are concerned, the Huawei Nova 5 on the rear packs a 48-megapixel primary camera with an 1.8 aperture, a second 16-megapixel camera with an 2.2 aperture, and a third 2-megapixel camera with an 2.4 aperture. And there is a fourth 2-megapixel camera with an 2.4 aperture. The rear camera setup has laser autofocus. It sports a 32-megapixel camera on the front for selfies with an 2.0 aperture. The Huawei Nova 5 runs EMUI based on Android 9 Pie and packs 128GB of inbuilt storage that can be expanded via microSD card up to 256GB. The Huawei Nova 5 is a dual SIM smartphone that accepts nano SIM and micro SIM cards. In today's competitive phone market, the Nova needs to be cheaper, but it's a fine device with no big drawbacks. The Honor 20 Pro doesn't look particularly different from any standard Android phone. The Honor 20 Pro looks, feels and runs like a premium smartphone, but without the polish or the hype, and most importantly without the price tag. It's a sleek and powerful mid-range smartphone. The phone has 6.26-inch screen and uses LCD Full HD Plus tech. This phone has an impressive 91.6% screen-to-body ratio. The power button and fingerprint sensor are one and the same. This phone has 4000 mAh battery and could easily last for a day. It supports 22.5-watt fast charging. The Honor 20 Pro's camera setup is one of its biggest selling points. This phone has 4 cameras. The 4 cameras are as follows: a 48-megapixel 1.4 aperture main snapper with optical image stabilization, a 16-megapixel sensor with a wide-angle lens, an 8-megapixel sensor with a telephoto lens and OIS, and a 2-megapixel macro camera. On the front, there is a 32-megapixel selfie camera, which generally take high-quality pictures. Like most Honor devices, the 20 Pro also comes with Magic UI 2.1 on top of the Android 9.0 Pie OS. This phone has Kirin 980 chipset and 8GB of RAM. There is a 256GB of internal storage also.